Hey, guess what? I'm making a feature film.
So you're going to pay for it yourself and find a distributor at festivals?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm getting a distributor who will get the production funding.
How are you doing that?
I'm making my film in 11 stages on a site called Plotsa. I retell my story with more detail at each stage, starting with one sentence and ending with the full movie. And it's reviewed at each stage by peers and staff to make sure it's artistic and appealing to a wide audience. And at key stages, it's reviewed by audience and distributors with their investors. So before I shoot it, I have a distributor and funding in place.
Huh. Sounds efficient. You avoid spending tons of money and time and energy making a movie only to realize you can't distribute it.
Exactly. You get each stage right before you go on to the next. And you make sure along the way that audiences and distributors are interested.
What are the stages?
Okay, stage 1, you tell your story in one sentence. Then you retell your story with 3 sentences, one for each act. Stage 2, you retell each act with several sentences, one for each scene. About half your scenes are now summarized. Stage 3, you retell your story with one sentence for each subplot. Then you retell your subplots with one sentence for each act, and then one sentence for each scene in each act. Your story is then reviewed by audiences and distributors with their investors, online and sometimes at live festivals. You still with me?
Yeah. Go on.
Stage 4, you retell each scene with a few sentences, one for each beat, which you need later for filming too. Stage 5, you retell each beat as a few sentences for your script. Stage 6, you retell the script as sentences for your novella.
A novella?
Yeah, and the cool thing is that Plotsa automatically converts your script into a first draft novella to build your audience.
Wow. I'm getting it. Keep going.
So, your novella is published, and it's read and reviewed by audiences and distributors with their investors. Then you start into pre-production with stage 7. You retell your scenes as location photos with shot descriptions for main beat changes. Stage 8, you retell your location photos and shot descriptions as video storyboards. Stage 9, you retell your story as a marketing story, why you've been making it, why it has wide appeal, why you need to finish it with your budget and its return on investment. And this is reviewed by audiences and distributors with their investors.
This sounds great. But won't you have done a lot of work before you know if you'll get the funding to make the film? I mean, you'll have to finish your script and storyboards. That's a lot.
That's why Plotsa recommends that after your third stage, you choose a scene or two to work on. You complete the script and storyboards, and shoot and edit the scene or two. A scenario with a finished scene or two is a good package to present to distributors.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh hey, so once you have distribution and funding, you go to stage 10. You retell your story as a rough cut. And stage 11, you retell it as a final cut.
What if you've already written a script and need distribution and production funding?
You submit it at the script stage and revise it and get it to an audience review with distributors and their investors.
And what if you've already made a movie and need distribution?
You submit it at the final cut stage and revise your script and film and get it reviewed by an audience with distributors and their investors.
Very professional.
Very thorough.
Here's a quote from J.D. Payne, screenwriter and executive producer of Amazon's upcoming series, Lord of the Rings. He says, Plotsa provides independence with the same type of industry processes and standards used by Hollywood studios.
Where can we learn more about this?
Watch the tutorial I watched at the site at plotsa.com/create.